Somebody screams, and all of Jim Jeffries' dreams explodes into a black fist as he falls to the floor. He looks up at the sky. He may wish he knew why, but you can't go back there no more. That's the opening to Palisades Park, a song by Counting Crows, written by Adam Duritz. And it's a song that's written in a very cinematic way. It opens up, you first hear the dun 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 carnival sounds, and then it's as if you're in a dream, right? It's very like row, row, row your boat, right? Life is but a dream. And so it's like hazily waking up from a dream, and then the trumpet comes in. Now you can go and watch the video and watch the lyrical video. The video itself for it is awesome for Palisades Park. It's almost like it was written, to be cinematic in a way. But it doesn't exactly, as no music video really should, doesn't exactly follow the story that's being told. And because in order to get all of the little weird Easter eggs that Adam Duritz puts into songs, you will have had to spend your life wrapped up in Counting Crows. And I love music. I don't understand music, but there's not a person on this planet more qualified to talk about Counting Crow songs than me. Not even Adam Duritz, not Dan Vickery, not Charles Gilliam, not Jim Bourgeois, none of those guys. Not Matt Molly. Just me. One of the biggest themes, obviously, with Palisade Park is that it's an amusement ride. And life has its own sort of amusement rides. Look how cute you are. Look how cute you are. Since she was forced to listen to Palisade Park so many times, she is also well equipped to do a video with me. Hey Debbie, you're so cute. Do you want to be cute? Somebody screams, and all of Jim Jeffries' dreams explode into a black fist as he falls to the floor. He looks up at the sky. He may wish he knew why, but you can't go back there no more. That's the opening of Palisade Park. And tonight we're going to be discussing Palisade Park. It's a song by Counting Crows and has a great video that goes with it. And if you've never seen it before, don't watch the video first. Go watch the lyric video of it, or just listen to it. But it doesn't mess up anything of what I'm going to tell you. The song itself, I'm not going into the time signature and all of that. There's a really beautiful, heart-wrenching thing about this song, and it's not even that it's a sad thing. It's because it pulls on nostalgia. It pulls on dreaming. It pulls on getting on a ride and getting off a ride. And it's about loss and failure, but also reminiscing and maybe your life wasn't perfect, but some of those non-perfect moments in life are the rich ones, right? They stick with you. They're there, and they're beautiful in their own right. And so when you take a look at Palisade Park, right? So the story itself doesn't take place on that end of the country, at the Palisade Park, on the east side. It opens in the past, but we don't necessarily get there right away. So what's going on is, when the song opens, it's like an organ grinder. You're like waking up in a carnival, or you're waking up at a Six Flags, or that sort of thing, right? But it's in the past. And there's a couple of tells to it of when you can see kind of the dreaming parts of it. So the opening of it comes in with trumpet that comes over the sounds of the carnival, but it's beautiful trumpet, but it's almost intrusive to the beat that's there. It's like you're dreaming and then you hear the trumpet and then it comes through. And then you wake up from that dream with the dun dun, you go into the song. So the opening line is somebody screams. And so that somebody screaming if you're in a concert, somebody screaming if you're at a carnival, if you're at a show, if you're outside, somebody screaming is not as bad as it's not necessarily bad, right? What the screams are, is it somebody on a roller coaster? And since there's all of these visions and all of this imagery in the song of a roller coaster, you think you're at a fair, but you're at a prize fight. And the way that we know you're at a prize fight, you're at the biggest fight in the world. And the fight is between Jim Jeffries, who was the greatest boxer in the world at that time, white guy, and Jack Johnson, an African-American guy. And so the opening line is, somebody screams. And all of Jim Jeffries' dreams explode into a black fist as he falls to the floor. And he looks up at the sky, and he may wish he knew why. But you can't go back there anymore. Jim Jeffries' life changed when he met Jack Johnson, because Jack Johnson knocked him out. Knocked him down. And so Jim Jeffries was not the world's greatest ever again. His life was changed. And Jack Johnson didn't get the chance to be the greatest in the world because he was married to a white woman and drove his wife, a white woman, across state lines and had to do 3 years in prison for that. So that's the past. We can't go back there no more, right? That horrible thing that happened to both of them, because one of them won and lost, and one of them lost and lost. And we can't go back to that sort of thinking, to where a man can't drive his wife across state lines, right? We can't go back there anymore. That's a nightmare, right? It's a nightmare for two people, but it was the biggest fight in the century. I work a block away from where the fight took place. And that's a representation of the past. It's a visual representation of a god that was crushed, that was killed, because he was never a god, right? We're just men. But, so, why is that there? Why is it in there? There's so much imagery in the song, okay? Somebody screams. That's going to wake you up from a dream, because there's a lot of dreaming that's going on there. There's a lot of row, row, row your boat, life is but a dream. It's a very existential thing, but nostalgia in its own existentiality. So there's your whole beginning right there, it's about a fight that both people lost. And it starts with there's a scream. Somebody screams. And all Jim Jeffries' dreams explode into a black fist as he falls to the floor. And you can feel it, you can see it. Falls to the floor, looks up at the sky. So whatever those things are that happen in your life, that happen in one punch, that happen on a Tuesday afternoon on an unremarkable day, those things, they hit you, they blindside you, and they change your entire life. Or they don't. But we can't go back there to where these bad things happen, these atrocities, right? And so moving on in the song, there's a lot of talk, and a lot of times Adam Duritz puts into a lot of songs about horse diving. Horse diving, they used to take a horse and put him up high, and they would dive into the water. And so whenever he's discussing the horses that would dive at Palisades Park, obviously it's a horrific thing, right? That for the horses, for the riders, it's a miracle that they don't make them do that anymore. It's a nightmare. So we can't go back there anymore. We can't go back to where you can't arrest a man for those sort of things. You can't make horses do these things. You can't make the divers do these sort of things. These things that tear people apart We can't just sit by and watch them happen. And we have to say something. We have to be part of that, right? And so the characters in the story, the way that it's set up is really neat because he uses his name Andy. Now, Andy could be the narrator. It could be two people. It could be watching Andy. It could be Andy. Or like in the video, they separate it by two people. Exactly. But it doesn't have to be. And the cool thing about Andy is it's a very ambiguous name. It could be it's a girl or a boy or whomever. Anyone can have the name Andy. But it does have some peak nostalgia reference to it. Andy, again, boy or girl. There's two places where it pops up in nostalgia, and especially in looking back in the tearjerker moments, and that's in Toy Story, Andy, or in Goonies, Andy, you Goonie. You got a boy, you got a girl. So, Andy, I think, is a great character name for this sort of thing because you could even go back to Andy Griffith, right? Andy Warhol. And Andy Warhol actually has a bit of a moment within the song when he starts talking about Edie, dressed up just like Edie, which is most likely referring to Edie Sedgwick. So, with all of that, we're going to go back now. So, we did that first line. So, the next line of the song is, "Future sounds so crazy." We've all heard that song before. The future sounds so crazy. And we've all heard that song before. And now you start to separate from the dream world into the real world. Because eventually Andy becomes a Peter Pan style character that keeps pulling the characters apart. And there's this beautiful cyclical idea that when you get on a roller coaster, you don't get on a roller coaster going, I'm going to live on this roller coaster, right? And it could represent drugs. It's better though if it represents relationships, right? Because you know sometimes when you get into a roller coaster relationship, you can feel it, or you should. But if you're high and you don't notice it, you can lose anyone. All lovely and white. So whatever drugs are referenced doesn't mean as much as the relationships that are referenced, right? Because there's this beautiful thing that, you don't get into a friendship and go, well, I can only be in this friendship for this amount of time, right? I mean, you do when it's like you go off to go to college, or you're joining that moment, but that's the moments. But you get in your romantic relationships, those are supposed to last forever, and if they don't, then there's something wrong. And all of us have that friend that's always at the party. Their life is a party. And maybe that's the roller coaster, right? There's a wild mouse spinning the girls around, right? And you can't. I used to carry that spark. I used to dream in the dark of Palisades Park, up over the cliffs and down into the spark. It's a long night. It's a long life full of long nights. But that's not what I was looking for. Okay. So, life of a rock star. The life of the party. You end up either Vince Neil in that situation, right? All of these rock stars, even if you look at like Counting Crows, right? If you look at Adam Duritz, we have him. He didn't leave us like Kurt Cobain, like, right? I mean, in that time, in that era. And because it's a different style of rock star, okay? And I think that may have been one of the things that hit him, was the fame and all that stuff so early. It's because, well, now you're on the roller coaster. And now, you know, if the roller coaster stops before it ends, that's always bad. Okay? All right? If you get on a roller coaster and for some reason it stops before it gets to the end, that's not good. Right? But you still get back on the roller coaster, right? Unless, I mean, that's the thing about roller coasters is you don't get on there to live your life on it. You don't go to the carnival or to the fair or to the circus because you're going to live your life there. You're just stepping into the world for a little bit. So Alice in Wonderland is referenced. You know, the White Queen's creeping, right? But you can, again, so when we did Alice in Harlem Land, when we wrote it, we knew that we thought the White Rabbit, we placed everyone in sort of their drug categories. We thought the White Rabbit was definitely like cocaine, right? But it doesn't have to be that drug, because some people can be the rabbit without the drugs. It could be without those sort of things. It could be because of situations in life. But it's a ride. It's a ride. Life is but a dream. And there's these great dream moments, you know, climb outside your bedroom window, shimmy down the fire escape, right? He's Peter Pan knocking on the window. Come on, come back to Neverland. And one of the things about Neverland that is heartbreaking, at least within the stories, I don't know exactly what J.M. Barrie was always, you know, but one of the heartbreaking things is Captain Hook doesn't leave the island. Mr. Smee doesn't leave. Tiger Lily doesn't leave. The alligator, the clock, the Lost Boys, the Native Americans, because they can't leave. Because Peter Pan is the only one that can leave, because he never grows up. He never stops the party. He never gets off the roller coaster. He never gets off the ride and you can look at that and go, well, that just seems destructive that you're going to get on the roller coaster, right? Think about what life is like to become a rock star, to be in the music industry, in entertainment industry. I mean, look at the madness that happens in the film industry, right? It's, and somewhere along the way, someone decided this is how it's got to be. You want this, you get this. Well, but sometimes people can ride the roller coaster without having to own the roller coaster, right? And some people get on it, get off it, had a great time, go home. I happen to love roller coasters. I am a huge fan of roller coasters, and I'm absolutely terrified of them. I also hate them, but that's just it. It's that you're giving up control to something else, and you're not even giving it up to a driver. You're not giving it up to a pilot. You're giving it up to gravity. And like, you know, you think that 75 miles an hour isn't fast, but when you point something at the ground, it's going 75 miles an hour. That's pretty fast. Right? Tomorrow's the name that changed from yesterday to blame, but can't go back there no more. There's some references that you can see point to Elton John in a way, right? Because one, he has a song with, like, I'm pretty sure it's my favorite video with Justin Timberlake, and it's "This train don't stop here anymore." And it's when the Elton John movie came out, and like it went up against the Queen sort of music biopic thing, and it was just after seeing the Queen one, it was well acted, it looks great, but it was just, you know, it didn't have the heart. And even though, you know, the Queen movie's mostly made up or it got a lot of made up parts, but that's what a music video is, right? There's a music video, and it's not saying the exact same things that the song is saying. You're watching the rock stars live their lives, or you're listening to the narrator, or you're listening to the song, or you don't know. But it's pretty clear, this whole idea that life is but a dream, and you wake up every once in a while, because either the lull of the train or the lull of life or the lull of the roller coaster, even, because if you can sleep on a roller coaster, that means that you're okay to ride the roller coaster. Or maybe you should get off the roller coaster. But again, it's not a song about addiction. This is not a song about addiction. This is a song about love, right? But that's what it's trying to say, is that addiction and love can feel the same. Addicted to a ride, addicted to a thrill, addicted to a drug, addicted to a person, addicted to a song. Whatever these things are, that's that ride. It's a ride that you're meant to get off at some point. And so when you start to look at your relationships as a roller coaster ride, you start to look at your life as a roller coaster ride, then you start to want to do things to get off of it. So it could be drugs. It could be going out every night. It could be collecting too much stuff. It could be spending too much time thinking about Counting Crows songs, or not. But that idea of the party is right there. It's right in there. And that's why you start. The song's called Palisades Park, but you start in Reno, and you start in the past. And then you see the character driving through Reno or walking through Reno. And there's the pentatone of the guitar. It's like, and there's long light, and all the traffic stops to stare. At a crosswalk in Reno, Nevada, wearing nothing but air and a pair of gray paper wings. Is that Andy? Is that what Andy became? Is that what happens to everyone so every person that you see that's raving on the side of the road, or that's naked in the middle of the crosswalk, which I happen to see a lot. So we see that a lot of times here. But so if you're thinking about a friend and that friend was always in the party, and then you start thinking about that friend again, but you don't know where they are. You know that, maybe we could move to California. Whatever it is that we do, Andy, the Peter Pan, the thing that's drawing you away, is come to Neverland. Come and do this. And that can't be your life. I mean, it can, but it's also like, okay, if you're gonna try a certain drug, okay, and you're like, well, you don't go into trying drugs thinking, okay, this is now my life. It's a roller coaster. It has to be a roller coaster, and you have to get off that roller coaster at some point, whether it's alcohol, whether it's whatever your vices are, right? That's what they have to be. They have to be this roller coaster ride that you take willingly, knowing that at some point that you got to get off the roller coaster. And getting off the roller coaster is traumatic, and it could be as traumatic as being punched in the face and change your whole life, right? And that's why. And that's why people, and that's the problem that artists in music or painting is, I'm saying one thing, I'm telling you these things, right? But I'm also, if whatever your vice is gets you to that point, it's hard to explain it. Like, oh, if you tear yourself apart for your art, then that's part of the art, right? So if your party lifestyle is tearing you apart, you kind of have to let it tear you apart, or you have to weather it, and that's what you do. I equate it to, so I have friends that I've worked on cruise ships before, and there can be money in doing either stand-up or dancing stuff. It's like It's like moving to Reno thinking that you're moving to Las Vegas, right? If you've never seen either of the two before, you wouldn't know. You'd be unchained from the wall and you go see Reno and you go, oh, this is Las Vegas. Or, I've seen Las Vegas and I went, oh, this is Las Vegas, right? But it gets deeper and deeper and deeper, just like each line of a song, each line of poetry, just like each brushstroke of art. The deeper you go, is it there? Maybe. Reno is named after John Renault, and he was a soldier, and his buddies named the train stop after him. They named it Reno. They called him Reno because I think he was French and they couldn't pronounce Renault. Well, look at, you see the impermanence of Reno. I had never been to Reno, I don't think, but there was no Reno then. And when they say, it's kind of like this great sort of double meaning. Like he's not talking about sparks in the song necessarily, but he does mention sparks twice. So up over the cliffs and down among the sparks. Now, Sparks and Reno are kind of the same city. They're right next to each other, but you got to drive through Sparks to get to Reno if you're coming from a certain way. And so you go up over this hill over by the Gigafactory, and then you come down it, and it's a long-ass, lonely hill. And it's like 2 lanes and all of those things. But it's like even driving down into Vegas, if you're driving from the east, once you come once you get past some certain areas and you look down, if it's nighttime, and you look at the blackness, and then there's just glittery little gold lights that make up Las Vegas, right? And it's just an image. It's an image of a city. And as you get closer and closer and closer, you go, oh God, this is gonna be fun. And then you gotta leave. You have to leave Las Vegas. You have to leave the party. At some point you have to grow up. At some point you have to stop being at the party. Or you don't, because you don't know what happens. You can say, well, this happened to that person, and this happened to this person, and again, it also depends on what your party is, right? But at some point, you gotta grow up. But Andy doesn't grow up. I'm dressed up just like Edie, changing all the time my leopard spots to polka dots. Whatever I gotta do to change to stay in this party, whatever I gotta do to get that next gig, to get I'm part of it now. Dressed up in our pirate vests, all leather and feather and furs, right? And in the video they show them like shopping at a thrift store, but also, right, just up in our pirate vests. Pirates didn't live very long. I know a lot about pirates, but a lot of people like to dress up as the pirates, right? And you go out and you dress up as a pirate, and you go and you get to be a pirate for a day, talk like a pirate for a day. And South Park and Cartman have showed us that you don't want to be a pirate. Don't move to Somalia and become a pirate now. Because that's it. That's what nostalgia is. It's the story. That's what dreams are. They're partial fragments of lies. But they're also partial fragments of truth. Or it's a sign you saw along the way. Or it's something that traumatized you and stuck with you, or it's something that you keep forgetting. And if your life takes place inside an amusement park, it has that feeling like either you're gonna burn out or it's gonna be the greatest thing ever. And well, I hope it's the greatest thing ever. There's some pretty cool moments in Palisade Park where you can find actual Adam Duritz in there, and you can find It actually comes out of, there's a wild mouse spinning the girls around till they can't take it anymore. And I've been on a ton of roller coasters. I went on one called the Back Wabbit one time, which was pretty terrifying. It went backwards. But I've ridden every roller coaster. And I don't want to keep riding roller coasters. I want to go and ride it and then go home. Well, I go eat a bunch of churros and get sick and ride another one. Because that's the scary parts you got to walk through. That's the moments that you got to go through. And you can blame drugs. You can blame that you just weren't the type to settle down. You can blame all these things. But that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow's blame, right? And that when you have that party lifestyle, let's go do the party. And you can do it. You can take it to extremes. You can lightly touch it. The big thing that I do is, when I go to parties, is I don't like, even if I'm having the best time ever, I don't want to be the last person to leave. So I'm usually the first one to leave, and I don't say bye and everything, because I'm not saying bye to everybody. I ninja out. And it's not it's rude. But it's because if I don't, I'll stay at the party. And I'll keep living the party. And that's hard. And it's not because the party's ever done anything wrong to me. It's never drawn me off into any mistakes. All of my mistakes have been made on my own. And I don't blame, and not that I have a whole lot of mistakes, okay? but I have been to the party. I've never been a freak off, right? But you can see that itself is that excessive roller coaster. You can't maintain it. You can't maintain your thoughts and life if you're still on the roller coaster. Or you can. Or you look back on it when you're older and go, I did. And if we just keep moving forward and accepting people are gonna be in the party their whole life. There are people that live in Las Vegas, right? And they're humans. And then there's communities. But that's hard to sell when you've already started selling it as this gangster place where you can quickly make right light city gonna set my soul on fire, right? Get out that, that's the party. But it's all the same. There's 24 hours in the day. Night endlessly begins and ends and begins and ends, and after all this dreaming, you have to come back to the real world. You have to. Or the party's not so rich. If you're partying all the time, it's not that fun to go party. It's everything in moderation. So what's the song about? What is the song of life about? What direction is the train going? What direction is the roller coaster going? Have you seen Andy around? How lovely. I lost him in the light. And what was it that was lost? Just like losing Peter Pan. Was he ever there? Was it you? Was it me? Did those parties really happen? And if you've gone to so many parties, you don't remember the 13th, 14th one in, right? And that's why it's kind of beautiful, tragic, because you wake up and go, oh, you can't live at Neverland. In Neverland, You can't live at Neverland Ranch either. You can't live the dream, right? Living the dream unless you're dreaming, right? You can't just go to sleep and that's it. You're just in the dream. I didn't mean like American dreaming, right? Because of the nightmares, because of the trauma parts, okay? Because of the bad parts are harder to handle if you're on a roller coaster than if you're on a train or walking down the road, right? If you're in the party, then it's hard for the responsible things. And it's tragic. But then you can look back on it and go, well, I made it through that. I survived that. And then it becomes something beautiful. And sadness isn't unbeautiful to me. Sadness is beautiful. But it's also painful. Yeah. That is life. It's beauty. It's pain. And all you can do, in all that you can do, all that you can do, is live life the way that you choose. And do your best not to hurt anyone else. And blah, blah, blah. If you want to live the party life forever, you can figure it out. And you can look back and go, I survived that. Or you can live the life of hurting people and go, I survived that. Or you could live the life of helping people and go, I survived that. It's not that you can't live in the party, it's that it has to be your party. Counting Crows is awesome. Palisades is awesome. Go watch that song because it does also connect to a bunch of other songs. And I think that's all I've got emotionally for tonight. So thank you for joining me, my dog, and we are going to go and dream. Yeah? Hey, quiet on set. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Let's take that again. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Thanks for coming by.